Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday, and welcome to Sonic Sunday number 19. Today's theme is abundance and plenty. But before we get into that, the way things are in the world, I just caught something on Twitter last night. It's so disturbing. So I thought we would just spend a few minutes before we start talking about abundance, just doing a little prayer, a little sounding, just for harmony in the hearts of man and women. We've become so distorted, right? There's just so much ugliness going on. And it's really disturbing. I mean, I don't know anybody who has that kind of mindset. All the humans I know are helpful and kind and caring. Truly, like that's what I see as human nature. So I'm wondering who among you got the new 222, and if you got it, you can pull it out. And we're just going to spend a few moments just being together and creating a circle of harmony, of love, and broadcasting that into the substrata of the matrix of human consciousness. If you don't have a 222, you can use any fork. And if you don't have a fork, that's fine. You can just use your heart and your mind. So this fork is really very much one of presence. And actually, if you combine it with the 144, which I was doing just before I came live, it made me go, and it's such an interesting feeling of sort of like relief. It made me take breaths that I didn't know that I was holding. And so I'm going to use these two together, but not right now. I'll do that later. So just get yourself positioned with whatever instrument you've got. And let's just tune in together in our hearts, and really set strong intention to send love to these people who seem to be heartless, who seem to be godless, who seem to have no conscience, who seem to have lost touch with their humanity, and create a groundswell of compassion and empathy and humanity that maybe arises in the consciousness of those who somehow have been disconnected from that. Yeah? Okay, so just close your eyes, take some deepening breaths. And this time I really just want you to connect to the heart space. And imagine it like a little dish antenna that can broadcast frequencies. And as we all join together, it amplifies it a lot. We're just going to send it into the human family with so much love and compassion, and prayer that it can arise, that it arises in the consciousness of those who don't have it, aren't living it. Yeah? All right, here we go. If you've got a fork, go ahead and grab it, and let's get going. Just sending kind of a big hug, big love. I love you. The 2222 loves you no matter what. It's happy to be with you no matter what, right? So, and it's in this loving acceptance, not this, oh, you've got this wrong, we need to fix this. It doesn't do that. It just loves you and then allows love to come up in you. And so just sending love to your own body first, and then radiating that outward. Compassion, empathy, right? Realizing that I am that when I induce violence upon someone else, that I'm doing that to myself. That this is an autoimmune disorder of human consciousness that attacks self. And we want to wake up to the illusion and the essential wrongness of that. Right? So we don't condemn the condemners, but rather just love them with as much love as we can muster and hope that that seeps into them. And when I'm seeing the earth, this plane, if you will, all the humans, all the animals, all the beings on this plane, in this realm, like our little circle, just giving everybody a big encircling hug, a reminder of what the true nature of what it means to be human is. Because a lot of people seem to have forgotten. Okay, I'm just going to do a couple more. Yeah. So there's like this ringing, singing kind of circle going around. And let that encircle you too. Let that circle go around your whole being. Just feel yourself this spiral of love around you, and coherence, community, caring. Caring, I think that's a really big part of it, right? So many of us have become numbed out and don't care. Life cares about life. Good. Okay, last one here. May we know harmony and peace and empathy and love and compassion in the human family. All the distortions downstream of trauma be healed. The clarity and light of God. The truth. Good. All right. Thank you. All right. So our topic today is abundance and plenty. And it's not really about money so much, although that's certainly part of it. But it's really about truth and the true nature of nature, and how in being disconnected from nature and being disconnected from truth and having all of these signal jammers that have corrupted the data in us, genetically modified food, television, there's just no end of signal jammers that have disconnected us from nature and our true nature. I was thinking about how a sunflower can produce 2,000 or more seeds, those big sunflowers. Right? So one seed yields 2,000 seeds. And then you plant those 2,000 seeds and they yield 2,000 more each. Right? And then you look at the exponential multiplication of that and the amount of abundance that's contained in just one sunflower seed is astonishing, right? That nature has this amazing ability to reproduce riotously, like beyond abundantly. Like, that's the nature of life. And it comes from connection. One of the things that I realized back when I was 18 was that the biggest problem that we suffer from is the illusion of separation. The illusion of separation. And this idea that, we end here, that we're isolated, that we're separate. And then if we could just heal that one illusion, then it would fix all the other problems, right? There wouldn't be people raining down terror on other people because they would know that I am that. And it's this disconnection that has left us in a poverty, a real poverty and a real sense of a loss of that abundance, because real abundance comes from being connected, right? The sunflower is connected to the earth, to the water, to the sun, to all the other sunflowers, to all of the microbes in the soil. And it draws from these connections in order to give forth its own abundance. And so what I have figured out is that true abundance is really in the connections that we have to abundant life. And that the more connected that we are to each other, to ourselves, to the truth and the wholeness of ourselves, to each other, to nature, to God, then we become abundant. But many of us, due to the signal jammers, have gotten trapped in struggle and even addicted to struggle and to scarcity and to not enoughness. We've all been infected with the mind virus of I'm not enough. So if you feel as if you aren't enough, then you're not going to have enough. You're not going to be enough. You're going to be living in lack and living in struggle. And I remember one day I had this revelation because I was really addicted to drama and struggle and poverty consciousness. Like I was very deep in all of that. And I remember being out for a walk one day, and I realized that I was trapped in this kind of spiraling energy that was spiraling in and down. And I was struggling against that, right? I was 6 figures in debt. I was fighting with my husband all the time. I was scared of money. I didn't like money, right? Just to kind of bring it to money, but this is sort of a metaphor for everything else too. Poverty consciousness is there's a lot of reasons for that, right? It's not spiritual, money's not spiritual. But many of us don't have a good relationship with money. And we say bad things about it, right? Money is the root of all evil. Money is dirty. Money is not spiritual. Money is, bad. And if you had a friend that you said all those things to, like, you are the root of all evil, is that friend going to want to hang out with you? No. There's a book out there called Happy Money by Ken. I can't think of Ken's last name, but he talks about the importance of making money your friend and keeping all your bills nice and organized and really loving your money, just loving it like a good friend. You're so happy. Then you give it away and it's got that energy of that, right? And it's not just money, because we really want to make life our friend. Because if we don't like life and we don't like ourselves and we don't like God and we don't like this place and we don't want to be here, then we're closing ourselves off from that connection, that relationship. And so when I realized that I was sort of stuck in this struggle of like everything is hard, right? How many times you say that? I'm like, it's so hard, so hard. Excuse me. Then we're not connected. We can't connect because we're kind of in a straitjacket that's pulling us inward into this isolated struggle of our own. And whether we realize it or not, many of us are addicted to struggle and we're addicted to drama, and we keep indulging it and we keep speaking to it. And in that moment, I realized that I needed to flip the spin, right? This is one of the little sub-chapters in Tuning the Human Biofield, is this idea of flipping the spin, that if you find yourself turning inwards and downwards and you're struggling, and if you flip the spin, then you go into this expansive, connecting kind of space. And it's through that expansion, it's through that connection that abundance starts to populate our lives. And not just stuff, right? But when you feel abundant, you're not restricted, right? I know I spent 11 years on what I call the gas and food budget. I mean, even to the point of like scraping coins together to put heating oil, go out and buy 5 gallons of heating oil. And so it was very, very deep in that mindset. And it took quite a lot to kind of unfold me and help me to go into that expansion and not feel that restriction, right? Like there's this experience I think a lot of people have when you really are living hand to mouth, that you might get a little extra money and then all of a sudden your car breaks and the bill is like exactly whatever extra you had. And so when you go to write that check or make that payment at the car repair place, there can be this feeling of restriction, right? Like, And any time that you go into a feeling of being restricted, you cut off the flow. Right? So it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy of like struggle and restriction and fear and not enoughness. And then you're just in that story, you're clamping down the flow. So abundance and plenty is the nature of reality. And it's only our false beliefs, our fears, our restrictions, our this spin inward that restricts, right? You can just see it as I'm talking about it, that restricts life from flowing through us. And very much so, this belief that we're not worthy, right? And you've heard me talk about this a bunch, the mind virus of not enough. And then that just becomes our reality where nothing is enough. We're not enough, and I don't have enough, and this isn't enough, and I can never be enough. Whatever that is a falsehood that, well, it's not completely false, because really we are, I'm just going to tell you a story to kind of illustrate this. Everybody procrastinates, right? Anybody a procrastinator out there? Like, you come up with a good idea, you see something that needs to be done, and then you just don't have the energy, you don't do it. So you beat yourself up because you don't feel like doing it. But really, humans have always lived in clans and tribes, and the tasks are shared by all. Like, I realized a while back that if I'm not getting to something, it means I need help. Right? I need to expand out. I need to connect. I need to enlist. I am that. And so maybe I am not enough to do this by myself. But if I connect with my fellow humans and we do it together, then we are enough. So part of this feeling of not being enough comes from isolation. And it comes from having to be a self-sufficient individual and not wanting to ask for help. And so we isolate ourselves and get stuck in this, right? So when we connect, when we seek to connect, when we seek to branch out, when we flip the spin and we start to expand ourselves and we connect and we really start to allow the plasma threads of our being to weave into the world, right? We have plasma mycelial strands in our biofield that we can send out and connect. And that is where our abundance comes. We're connected to the entire cosmos. We're just a node. We're not separate. There's just a node in the web of life. And there's plasma ley lines, connections, ropes, illuminated ropes that connect us. Right? So that's where this abundance really happens, is that when we feel that connectivity to all of life. Another piece I think that's really important about abundance is that nature obeys the law of reciprocity, right? And I'm sure you've seen videos of people like freeing trapped animals, right? I mean, a whale that's tied up in things, or dolphins, or I just saw a video about a hawk being rescued. Yesterday, I saw one about an elephant, somebody using a backhoe to get an elephant out of a hole. And after he got the elephant out and scrambled out, the elephant turned around and came back and very like playfully and lovingly headbutted the arm of the backhoe, right? You see these animals express gratitude. And that's nature being reciprocating. And if any of you have read books about wealth, abundance, prosperity, almost every book will talk about the importance of tithing. And that can be a really hard thing to wrap your head around when you're like barely making ends meet, or you're pushing aside bills. You're like, how can I give away 10% when I don't even have enough for me? But that tithing, that 10%, that giving away, that's the law of reciprocity. That is, I've received and now I'm giving back, right? I've received and now I'm giving back. And so when we give, we get back. Right? So this is such an important part of this feeling, is to be comfortable in the giving, knowing that law of reciprocity, that it will come back. And the more freely we're able to give, the more generous we can be in our giving, not giving away the principle, but the interest, that the more you fill yourself up and take care of yourself, then the more you have to give. So the more you fill yourself up, the more you overflow and you can give. So it's really important, if you're feeling a sense of lack and a sense of disconnection, where can you connect? Where can you give of yourself? And it doesn't even have to be money. It can be a smile. It can be a favor. It can be a thoughtful little gift. It can be something that you make. But the more that we are in that flow of giving, then the more likely it is that we are to get that reciprocity back. And even something like gratitude and appreciation is a currency. It's a currency, right? When I hang out here and I give my time and energy to you, you give me gratitude back. Then that's a currency, right? I'm not really doing this for free because you're giving me your attention, you're giving me your appreciation, right? And I appreciate that. I appreciate us being in circle together. So whatever it is, excuse me, that you want more of in your life, you get that by giving that. You get that by giving that, right? Yeah. Let me just take a moment to look at comments. Yeah, the natural laws of natural order. And I think that's what we really need to get back to. Like, what is natural law? What is natural order? And can we make that our study? Can we make that our discipline to live in accordance with natural law? Because humans have gone off the rails, right? We've gone off the rails. And I think that there's some of us that are here that are really dedicated to this effort of getting us back on the rails. We've got to get ourselves back on first. And a big part of that is stepping out of this story of lack, of separation, of struggle, of drama. And I just want to invite you, as you go into your week, to really monitor when you're telling yourself these stories of that is that, right? You'll see my image of like the inward spiral, the struggle, the drama, and we're like, oh my God, I'm doing it. How can I flip the spin and move into a place of expansion, of connection? What can I give in this situation that I would like to get back? Yeah. Okay. So what does a tuning for that look like? Right? Let's give me some suggestions. Like, what would be the point of a tuning? What do we want to accomplish in this tuning? And what does that look like? Right? And if you were to, how would you feel and what would it be? We've drawn back our plasma strands because of a feeling need to protect from the intensity of the world. That's absolutely true. And I know, and even our little antennas allegedly on cells, I can't think of what they are, maybe somebody knows. But I did a tuning once, a group tuning on these little antenna, and I discovered that so many of them were pulled in, right? So many of them. For those of us who are sensitive, right? Too sensitive, probably most of you here are too sensitive. For sensitive people, growing up in a home where there's yelling, where there's violence, where there's just too much, any kind of abuse, telomeres, that's right, thank you. Then we pull in, and that has a component in our field as well, that our plasma strands kind of follow these antennae, and we've done this. And that creates that inward pull and that separation where we don't feel safe or at liberty to be embedded energetically in our environment. Yeah. I can feel when people are inward and spiraled down. Can take more than I have to give to those people. How can I find more people in the flow? Well, let's see. Next big live event I'm doing is Confluence in Texas again at the next clip. And that's April 5th through 9th. Incredible people, incredible time at Confluence. People who are open, right? These are, you can come to a Biofield Tuning class. Everybody's working on opening there. I had the incredible good fortune of going from one event to another all year long with people who were like this and really landing in this incredible sense of community and heart connection. That's so nourishing, right? This is what we need. This is the nourishment that we need, is the energy that comes through our plasma tentacles and our connection that feeds us and brings us out of this isolation. Yeah. Can we tune to search for like-mindedness? Yeah, let's make it part of it, because it is this connectivity, right, into community, into earth. And if we've got those antennas up, then we're going to see those opportunities. We're going to find those opportunities because our antennas aren't curled inward, telling stories of struggle and self-pity, but rather the antennas are up. I mean, like, where's my people? Where's other tentacles that I can entwine with? Right? Where's my mycelial community? I want to wrap my strands around you and draw nourishment from being together. Yeah, tuning that we already have everything we need. Well, we do, in a way. Excuse me, have everything we need. And we are everything, right? You don't have to go out and get any part of you. The amazing creature that you are is already inside of you, is whole and complete and beautiful and wise. It's just all of these illusions that have trapped you into thinking otherwise, right? We get trapped in lobster pots and then we can't get out. And then we end up, in our own little lobster pot of suffering instead of the joyful connection, being human. I mean, I really think we need to get together and sing and dance. I think more and more that's just occurring to me, that people don't do that anymore. They're just not doing it. And that takes away so much of the joy and the essentialness of being human. Just reading some more comments here. All right, so we'll do a tuning. We're going to do a tuning. First thing we're going to do is we're going to flip the spin. Okay, so anybody who's stuck in that downward, inward, struggling spiral, all right, and that you can envision that, whether it's going clockwise or counterclockwise, you tune in and figure that out. It might be different if you're right-handed or left-handed. I don't really know. So first, we're going to flip the spin, and once we flip the spin into expansion, then we'll just kind of grow some tentacles and allow those to flow out into the world. And through those, right, like in the mycelial network, they're always sending nutrients and fluids and information. And it's a healthy mycelial network creates healthy soil. And so that's what we're going to activate, our inner mycelium, and connect in the ether and send more of that energy of connection, of community, of humanity through the whole network. The substrata level is real. The etheric information template is a place that we absolutely can connect on. I've done experiments with friends where I send images into the ether and then they pick it up and get it right. It's a very powerful place that we've been told doesn't exist. But this is really where magic happens. And this is the realm that we're playing in today. Okay, so let's just take a moment to check in on just how you feel right now. You don't got any pain or discomfort or upset about something? I've got a little bit of a headache. I don't feel 100% today. Right? So just kind of noticing where you're at. Maybe putting a word on it. And then let's just together start to deepen our breath. So bringing your breath into the chest, really filling that up. And then into the belly, middle belly. then into the lower belly. And I just really want you to tune into your central channel. I want you to open up your crown. Just bring in some light. Feel that light behind your eyes. Feel that light come down to the chest, down the spine. Just feel the illumination of the central channel, bringing in the light of God, the light of life itself. With your own breath, I want you to just kind of clear out your central channel. I feel it kind of mucky in that lower third. So bring some more strong breaths into that. Invite coherence, clarity, balance, alignment with the universal template of harmonious expression. Let yourself be informed by the intelligence of the substrata, the ether, the template of the perfect human. And that exists there, right? Geometric, beautiful design of the human body and human spirit and human beingness. Just invite yourself into that. Notice how easy or difficult it is. And then I just want you to kind of ask the question, when I'm in struggle and I'm in that inward downward spiral, which way is it going? Is it going clockwise? Is it going counterclockwise? Which way is it going? So kind of identify the direction of that, okay? Maybe drop it in the notes. I'm kind of curious which it is for you. Do you feel the constriction through clockwise motion, kind of looking at it from the top down? Or do you feel it in a counterclockwise motion? And then what would flipping it into expansion, which direction is expansion going? So if you've got a sense of that, I'm curious if people have different clockwise going down. So the spin for you is clockwise in to tightness. Yeah, and then counterclockwise into expansion. Yeah. Clockwise feels restrictive to me. I'm right-handed. So that's kind of how I see it. But I don't think there's a right or wrong here. Okay, so whichever it is for you, that's the right way. Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's start off with the 174. And we're just going to tune into, and maybe even tighten up the restriction in, right? So let's go the other way and let's tighten it and let's feel what it feels like to be straitjacketed. I can't pay my bills. I can't find a lover. I can't get this work done, or whatever the I can't story is, whatever the isolation, restriction story, and maybe even affirm those things. What have you been affirming that isn't expansive? And so as I do this, we're just going to affirm the opposite of what we want, whatever it is that we have been affirming. Oh, it's so hard. Whatever that story is that you've been saying, I want you to say it. And we'll only do this for a little bit, okay? Just so you really feel that screw tightening and understand that whenever you affirm these things that you don't want, that's what's happening, right? You're isolating yourself more. So just say it. Even if you don't want to, I just want us to really feel it. Okay. I feel like I'm in a straitjacket, right away. Just discomfort and suffering and stories and anguish and discomfort and victimhood. Why me? All right. We'll just do 3 in this. And there's this spinning feeling of I'm struggling. I'm kind of lost my head. My head isn't really attached to my body. I'm just All right, last one of these. It's exhausting. It's depressing. It's making my ribs hurt, my lungs, my heart. It feels very crisis-y, right? Oh my God, this is horrible. Okay, stop that. All right. So now that you know what that feels like, we're going to go the other way, right? It feels like drama. Guys, this is the biggest addiction. It isn't even overwork. It's not food. It's not substances. It's not even overwork. It's drama is the number one addiction that we suffer from. Drama. Okay? And drama is such a big part of this this inward spin. Can you just choose to not feed it, right? Okay, same fork, 174. Okay, okay, here we go. We're going to flip it. I'm sorry. I'm going to do that to all of you. But now you know what that feels like. All right, let's flip it. Go the other way. Go the other way and let that energy start to expand out. All right, let it go the other way. Okay, I can breathe. I can lift my chest, right? And so we'll just kind of sit here inviting this spin in the other way and notice if any physical discomfort comes up, if any, right? Any places where you've been holding tension come up, any stories, just invite this whole beautiful spinning into expansion. But as that starts to go, it might be outside of your comfort zone. It might be outside of your known zone. Maybe you've really been trapped in this struggle and drama, and like going out here might feel a little unsafe or a little strange. The forces that caused you to pull in the first place were scary. And so this expanding outward thing can be scary, right? On a very deep sort of, precognitive level. Yeah, we're so addicted to our stories, right? This is a big part of healing. You get to really, you don't freaking care about any of those stories anymore. You step out of the pain body and none of that means anything anymore. Like taking off a heavy coat on a hot day. You're like, I can leave this story of my pain body behind, right? Yeah, I mean, that's what cloaks us. That's what restricts us. The pain body, the stories, the victimhood, the transgressions that we've suffered, all contribute to that layer. And we're the only one who can shake that shit off, right? Shake it out, shake it off. How to handle the feelings that come up when others are mad at you for disengaging in the habitual drama. You just stay neutral and it passes. Just don't engage. Just don't engage. Just don't engage. It passes. It'll just pass away. And you don't feed the kerfluffle. It just goes by. Okay, so this is making me really want to full on wiggle and shake. I hate that I have to do this in front of people, but that's just what happens to my body. So if you feel like wiggling or moving or dancing around, I'm seeing how ballet dancers go across the stage, their legs and their arms out. That's a real gesture of freedom. There's none of this going on when you're bounding freely, right? Like a gazelle. Gazelles are very connected to nature. Yeah, shaking it off. Shaking it off. Come out of the mucky swamp bog. All right, let's shake with a little bit more. So I'm going to come in with a 144. This is going to go in and kind of rattle those places that haven't gotten rattled loose yet. Right? Just see where this activates in your body, if anywhere. And we're going to, even as we're using this, we're keeping that undercurrent of that expansion going on. Right? So keep that moving, even as you tune in to where you might feel more restriction. Right. I'm feeling like the force of the world, that the external man-created, media-created, government-created world is very much in the pulling in the downward spiral. Right. This is the force of this. What's going on in this reality at the moment is very much in the ether, right? In that substrata, that energy is really encoded. Right. So let's imagine that we're all superheroes who are here to bust that out of the ether, that pattern, that story, that grip on humanity that diminishes us and causes us to suffer. That together that we can all be oh no, just break the spell, break that motion as we do it in ourselves, but we also send it into the world, this imprisonment almost in our own isolated psyches, story of separation and division. Yeah, good. That's an interesting feeling. It's almost like a hurricane or a tornado, but like in a good way of light and love, of coherence. But also there's like this sort of mama bear energy in it too. Like, not on my watch. Maybe make some sound, right? Or any sounds wanting to come out. Maybe there's like a rawr or some kind of sound that wants to be with this energy. Wow, I'm really feeling this. I'm feeling the force of all of us in this outward motion. Yeah. Love it. A lot of white light, like white, slight gold light coming in and growing. Good. Okay, let's do the 222. Actually, let's do the 222 and the 174 together. Or no, the 144 and the 222. I'm finding it difficult to not be critical of the crap going on in the world. Well, why do you have to not be critical? I mean, here's the thing, we can be both, right? We can use discernment to go, there's this really bad stuff going on. That's happening. I'm going to hold that reality. And the antidote for all of this in me and for the world is really truly this compassionate, empathetic. It's love. Love is the antidote, right? So you can hold both. You don't have to be all love and light when there's bullshit, massive scale bullshit going on. You can be angry at that. You can even hate that. I hate all the stupid bullshit in the world. Okay. I'm not ashamed to hate. It's okay to hate. I've talked about this before. No, it's okay to hate. Just don't get stuck in it and wallow it and overindulge it. But the fact that I hate the incoherence is what drives me so much to try to bring, not try, but to bring coherence to the world, right? Like when I created these things, if I didn't have such a like, oh, this is all wrong and I don't like it, then I want it to be better. Right? So don't think that like that hate is some kind of unspiritual thing. Denying hate is ridiculous. You're human. It's okay to hate all the horrible stuff. I hate things. And I'm not ashamed of the fact that I hate things. The fact that I hate things, that I don't dwell in it. But it causes me, it's better than being apathetic, right? When you hate something, you take action so that you don't, I hate being cold. I make sure I always put a coat on. Make sure everybody around me has a coat. All right? We can don't get stuck in this black and white world where like, oh, you have to be spiritual all the time. You're human. You're gonna have all your human emotions. This is what we have that AI doesn't have. What it means to be human is to embrace all of the feelings that we experience, not judge any of them. That's part of the inward spiral, is when you're having an emotion, you're judging it and you're suppressing it. You just got to find out how to channel it, what to do with it. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do the 222 and the 144. And just see what that does in you. How does that affect the spirals? Where does it go in your body? Right, even Jesus flipped some tables, right? Yeah, exactly. All right, so to me, like I kind of feel this releasing some subconscious tension, like in weird places, like my collarbones. And again, if any kind of wiggle or shake or like I also feel it sort of widening the base of the expanding spiral. Kind of a weird metaphor, but less like a tornado and more expanded all the way through. Yeah. Dawn, my assistant who's here, she said that she felt like the 144 and the 222 were a pair from the beginning, but I had to introduce the 144 first for it to kind of do its work in the world before we were ready for the 222 to show up, and that they really are lovely companions in the way that they interact. We named the pair the peacemakers, and really find that there's something about this resolution of duality or opposites that these forks create and bring you into this sort of center place that is, I don't know, it feels solid and real, right? Can you feel kind of anchoring solidity taking place in the body? And from that anchored, strengthened center, that opening spiral becomes more powerful. Good. Okay, let's come back to the sort of collective ideal, right? Of ideal, I guess. I was just seeing us all together. How many we got? 303 people in this moment, and thousands more. We'll watch the recording. So if you're watching the recording, please join in because you're energetically already here with us in the live. And let's just all join our spirals together and make one big coherent expansion out into the world, into the substrata. Yeah. Coherence of awakening to unity consciousness. And in that, an upwelling of compassion, love, empathy, patience, kindness, caring. Yeah. And as it kind of moves outward in its illuminated spiral, it kind of just washes away all the other drama. I want you to take some really nice, big illuminated breaths. So I want you to imagine that, well, certainly up our plasma atmosphere and you're breathing in light, but I want you to add like a little helium to that. So take 3 big breaths that are very illuminated and very light and send those into any part of your being that is still restricted or collapsed, right? So we'll just breathe in illuminated, buoyant, light energy. And through the course of these 3 breaths and becoming even more illuminated and open in ourselves, we kind of take this spiral to just kind of jump it to the next level of intensity together. And really get down into those depths, right? The dark depths in yourself, the dregs. Really invite this energy into those places where you've shoved stuff away, those basement corners, those pockets of clutter. Let's really go into that. Let's sort of white tornado the pockets of clutter in our own minds, our own dark secrets, our own deep shame, those things that cause us to get sucked back into the drama. Let's really go in and help each other to clean those out. Those places where we're not connecting into abundance, where we don't feel worthy. Right? And let those messes, those pockets of messes, turn into beautiful illuminated strands that extend beyond us, able to give and receive and connect. Yeah. Good. A couple more of those little dregs cleaning strikes. It's like a fairy godmother coming in and waving a magic wand, and poof, that pocket of clutter just becomes nice and tidy and orderly, allowing good energy to flow through it. Okay, one more of those. Yeah. Good. Okay. So now we're just gonna, everybody, I want you to tune into your into your plasma filaments, all right? All those amazing plasma filaments, as connectivity you had as a kid, and then school and life and everything shut you down. And I just want us to imagine that you're going to allow those to really unfurl all of your plasma tendrils, and you're really going to connect into nature. You're going to connect into your environment, and you're going to allow a flow of giving and receiving to really start to move through these antenna, tentacle, mycelial, plasmic wonders of your being. Right? How many do you want to sprout? Which direction do they want to go? How can you use your breath and your intention and this sense of inner illumination to just send them out? What do you want them to connect into? Really energize these. Be like, I'm open and I'm strong. Right? I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to let some jerk make me pull back in. I'm going to use my magic to just send them more love. There's something kind of musical about it. Singing and dancing, and it's really beautiful. Right? And see if there's any place where they don't want to go. Or maybe why. Investigate that. Right? I am connected. I am nourished. I am nourishing. I am allowing everything that the universe wants me to give and to receive. All of those channels are open. Going forward, I'm going to be so mindful when I start to go into the separation inward spiral of struggle and drama. I'm going to flip the spin. I'm going to go back into expansion and connection. It's safe for good things to take root. Yeah. Kind of feels good, right? It's sort of warm and fuzzy and comforting. Okay, it's going to be the last one. I am abundant because I'm connected to nature, and nature is abundant. Okay. Okay, everybody take a big breath into the belly. Exhale down to the ground. Give yourself a little shake. And then just tune in and notice how you feel. What was your big sort of aha or connection or download or revelation from that tuning? Seeing what you notice, drop a note. I love the image of unfurling our plasma tendrils, such a fabulous, expansive, connected feeling. Yeah, it feels really good, doesn't it? It feels safe. It feels nourishing. I feel like we're connected maybe in a deeper level than we have before when we've done these groups. Open and more hopeful, floating, expanded, connected. It's safe to just be. Yeah, that's really, to me, the lesson of the 222. Like, I can just be okay right now. Right? You haven't gone one yet. You would. It makes a great gift, too. It makes a great gift. If anybody if you want to start anybody with tuning forks, is just get the 222 and a puck and just tell them you don't even have to do anything with this. Just sit with it. It really enhances meditation, right? If you want to meditate, but it's hard to keep your mind focused, just sitting with this just kind of spreads this beautiful energy into your whole being. Yeah. Safe, lighter, and more connected. The spin is slower now, more calm, doesn't feel like erosion, it feels like growth, right? That's entropy and syntropy, right? Gravity and levity. Openness, connectedness, restriction, judgment, drama. This is a very simple metaphor to play with. So I hope that you, bring this feeling forward as you go into your week. My next Sonic Sunday, I think, will be December 24th. That will be the 1-year anniversary of Sonic Sundays. It'll be Sonic Sunday number 20. I don't know what I'm going to do it on yet, but we can look forward to that. Great. All right. Well, I absolutely love getting together with you guys here on Sunday mornings. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for those of you who watched our recording. If you haven't dropped a thumbs up yet, you can do that, and subscribe if you haven't done that yet. And I wish you all very much a joyful continued journey into the exploration of expansion and sending out your plasma tentacles, and having them be full of love and compassion and empathy and connection and all that good stuff. All right. Love you all very much. Everybody stay well.